What are you doing on Tuesday the 26th of September 2023? Because myself and Francesca Amber are coming to the Barbican Hall in London. Our event is called One Night Stand, and this one night event is all going to be about manifestation, crystal healing, and ridding your limiting beliefs to help you achieve your goals. We've curated an immersive experience that will leave you feeling inspired and empowered. Throughout the evening as well, we'll also have interactive exercises, we'll have empowering discussions, and the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals on a similar journey towards personal growth and manifestation. There'll even be an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. This event is your chance to break free from the shackles of self-doubt and unleash your inner greatness. It's time to release those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back and step into your true potential. And if you want to come on your own, by all means do that. Single tickets are available and seating is totally unreserved, so you can even meet up with your spiritual friends and sit with them as well. Head to @CannyCrystals on Instagram and click the link in my bio. Tickets are limited, so secure your spot and be part of this transformative experience. Don't miss out on the chance to manifest your dreams and achieve your goals. We can't wait to see you there. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Canny Crystals, the podcast. My name is Mart and I'm your host. How are you all? I hope that everyone is really, really good this week. I'm having a bit of a good week, to be honest, and I've absolutely loved seeing everyone's vision boards this week as well. So thank you so much for sending them all through to us. After doing last week's episode, I was inspired to do my own for plans for 2022. It's just been so nice to see everyone getting creative and manifesting the goals and ambitions for this year. Now, I know that a few of you have been super emotional this week as well, because you've been dropping the DMs left, right, and bloody centre. And as I've messaged everyone back about it, I think it's truly to do with Monday night's full moon in Cancer. We're also going through a Venus and a Mercury retrograde at the moment as well. So for anyone out there struggling emotionally, this will be why, okay? So try your best just to hold out until about the 4th of February when it's all over. Don't worry, the world's not ending or anything. It's just the retrograde's over. And it'll feel like a fresh start for everyone. It'll almost feel like 2022 has started from the 4th of February. You'll understand what I mean when we get there. I think it's 2 weeks today. Yeah, anyway, speaking of the full moon as well, I attended a full moon goal setting and sound bath meditation workshop at the weekend in Newcastle. That's a mouthful, isn't it? A full moon goal setting and sound bath meditation workshop, okay? So it really made me wonder why I'm not doing things like this when I'm so bloody passionate about it all. But anyway, I'll tell you a bit more about it. So we all met at the yoga studio where it was taking place, and after being greeted and sat at our mats, we were each given a journal and we were told to write down our goals for 2022. So basically everything we wanted to achieve. And we then broke this down into 3 achievable steps for each, as well as weighing up our own strengths, our weaknesses, any arising opportunities that we could take lead on, and anything that could basically threaten that from happening. And after this, we followed with a crystal meditation with a piece of moonstone. And we did a few breathing techniques to really relax us. Then we lay on the floor. We underwent the sound bath meditation. If you don't know what sound bath meditation is, give it a look up on YouTube. It is so relaxing. So I was basically lay there with a blanket over us, and once we got into a meditative state of relaxation, we'd done a bit of mindfulness. There was things like crystal bowls, Tibetan singing bowls, gongs, and everything, just creating that sound. And it literally felt like it was washing over me. So as I was lay there, and this is going to sound weird, I know, but stick with us, you always do. Loyal fans. I had my eyes closed, but I could see the sound coming from the crystal balls and things as though it was a huge white ripple, kind of working its way up my body and across my head. I don't know if it was to do with the vibration of the sound, maybe through the floorboards, or just because it felt like it was washing up my body in waves, or I don't know if just me visualization was just working overtime. But it really felt like this white was washing all the negativity away, It was quite a surreal experience, but I really, really enjoyed it. After the sound bath meditation, we came back to our goals and ambitions, and we turned these into kind of like affirmation statements. And then we repeated these to ourselves while doing more breathing techniques. I left the session feeling so much more positive about what I wanted to achieve in 2022, and it really felt like a fresh start for me, like the slate was wiped clean. So, for example, like when I set my what are they called? New Year's resolutions. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago. When I set my New Year's resolutions, it was all about what I wanted to get kind of health related. So, for example, I was doing this challenge. I wanted to lose X amount of pounds. I wanted to get fitter and healthier and stronger. But I didn't put anything on about how I wanted to develop myself this year. And this workshop's made me realize that I should be doing things like this. I should be doing these sound bath meditations, actually rolling them out to people. I should be doing these new moon workshops where people manifest. I should be doing these manifestation workshops, that kind of thing. So, on the night of the actual full moon itself, Monday the 17th of Jan, you might have seen my TikTok video about this, but I meditated on the day of the actual full moon, and I wrote myself like a list of everything that I wanted to release. And this included things like I am releasing all negative thoughts and emotions around sadness and depression in my life. Just basically anything that I no longer wanted in my life and that no longer had any purpose to serve us. So when it got to the actual time of the full moon, which was about 10 to midnight, I think it was 11:48, I took my paper outside and I set fire to it. Now, setting fire to something has such a powerful energy and symbolism, like connotation, that you're basically burning it to get rid of it. So as I burnt it and I watched the ashes fly off into the night sky, I basically imagined all my troubles flying away under the light of the full moon. And then the next morning when I woke up, I wrote myself a gratitude list. Everything that I had to feel grateful for. Everything that I was happy to be in my life. All of this was just to replace everything that I had released the night before. So I wrote things like, I'm so happy and grateful to be back to full good health. I am so thankful for a great circle of friends who lift me mood and spirit every time we meet. I'm so blessed to have a loving family who love me unconditionally. That kind of thing, you know. And just doing this made me feel so thankful for everything that I already had in my life. I think sometimes you just need to write down and take note of everything that you have, to be grateful for. And then when you look back at that list, it really shocks you how long your list actually is. So I write things down on my gratitude list that might be big in my life, but I also love to write down the things that might seem so tiny and small and insignificant, but things that might still have a huge effect for me. So, for example, I'm super grateful to have a roof over my head, which I would class as like a big thing because it's a home. But at the same time, I would even be grateful just to have that running water within inside my home. Some people in the world don't even have that luxury. And I put myself in their position as I write my gratitude list. And it makes me really appreciate the smallest of things. The heating and the radiators in my house. The food in my fridge. The clothes in my wardrobe. The toothbrush in my bathroom cabinet. The more grateful you are for things, the more you have to be happy for. And not only will it lift your mood, but you'll also be given more to be appreciative of. Okay, let's get on with this week's episode then. I could talk a bloody glass eyeball to sleep sometimes, couldn't I? Sorry, I've still got a bit of a croaky throat as well, and it is getting worse the more that I talk, so I do apologise. So as you know by now, at the end of each episode, I ask people to message in, and I ask them to let me know what you want to hear from me in the next episode. And believe me, this week was no exception. I've counted 37 messages from people in the last few days wanting more manifestation exercises, like the ones we did a few weeks ago, you know, with the green cars. And now I thought this was quite fitting as well, because, just to go slightly off topic, one of my goals for this year that I've just touched on is to host an online 4-week workshop of manifesting. So things like how to manifest, what manifesting is, how to manifest love, wealth, abundance, health, luck, as well as some homework exercises for you. And I'm already well underway with the course content, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm sure I'll have a whole podcast episode on that once it's here. But yeah, you lot love a manifestation and intention episode, don't you? So this week, I'd taken another experiment from an amazing book I read called E Squared by Pam Grout. And it's basically a book with a few experiments in that you can do at home just to prove that your thoughts ultimately shape and create your reality. Now, I'm sure, just like me, that when you first heard this sentence, that your thoughts created your reality, you probably just laughed it off. But then, in secret, you decided to have a little go on the slide, didn't you? Don't lie, of course you did. But that's because of our past conditioning. And I've mentioned this on numerous occasions before in the past episodes as well. But we have been conditioned to think that this isn't possible. We've been conditioned over the years to instead think that you have to put in all the hard work to make anything happen in your life. That's not true. Yes, there's hard work involved, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's not 100% effort. Now, I know we've all read The Secret, or Think and Grow Rich, or some kind of energy-provoking book, and they all spread the same message. They speak the universal truth. If you know what you want, and you can get clear on that, you can have it all. So most of my friends, when I tell them about things like this, you can just see them. Their eyes will glaze over. You can just see that they're so uninterested. Like, I've got a few friends, don't get us wrong. Like, I've got a few friends, and like a couple of friends from the gym and things like that who believe in all of this as well. So it's nice to talk to like-minded people. But the majority of my friends, like I say, they just glaze over. It's almost like we've been hypnotized to ignore and scoff at anything related to manifesting because people see it as this complicated energy work that couldn't possibly be real, or it must be witchcraft, or you know what I mean? It's impossible for things like this to happen in this day and age. So what we're going to do today, and what manifesting is all about, is actually as easy as going for a little walk from where you are now to where you want to be. Okay, so let's say, for instance, that right now you're living in a one-bed flat without a car, you're struggling to get to and from work using buses and public transport, you're on minimum wage, and where you want to be is living with a family of your own, in that 3-bed house, a shiny new car, on double minimum wage. So how do you get from where you are now to where you want to be? You start focusing your idle time on your end goal. It's that simple. You forget your current life. I know this might be hard at first, and you might think, how am I supposed to forget the life that I'm living on a daily basis? But you just forget, you get those bus journeys out of your mind. You stop thinking about your one-bed flat. None of this should exist in your mind. I know it's reality presently, but it's not your reality in the future. Okay? Every single thought that you process should be a step in the right direction of where you want to be. So start affirming to yourself, my new job is so amazing. I am in love with my new car, and it gets me to work on time every single day. I absolutely adore coming home to my beautiful house with my loving family. The more energy and excitement that you invest in these thoughts, the quicker that you'll get there. Now, some people will take a few steps towards the desires and goals, and then before you know it, they've done a U-turn, and they've headed straight back to where they are now. But as with anything, the key here is consistency. Be consistent with those thoughts. Be consistent with gratitude. Be consistent with your joy and happiness. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. Think about it. If we thought about an elephant in our garden, would you really want to just see one fall from the sky and land there and crush all your furniture? Reality would be a bloody mess. And that's why there's a universal time buffer. It's the universe's way of saying, are you sure that's really what you want? It's asking you to think about it constantly to prove that's what you really want. Now, at first, you normally find it easy and exciting to look towards your vision of your new future, but inevitably, you're human. The menacing thoughts of distractions, of, it'll never happen, that'll always resurface, basically. Your thoughts will get bored of this new routine, and it'll automatically start putting you back on that path of your old life, the one that you're trying to escape from. You just need to remain focused and keep on heading forwards in your life. So getting to where you want in life does not take any special or particular gift. It literally takes the willingness to keep on walking, focusing all of your attention, your energy, and your awareness. Now, I get asked all the time as well, Mart, what can I manifest? Now, the answer is the same every time. Pretty much anything that you've ever seen, you've ever heard, or ever experienced. The world is basically your catalogue, okay? If you've seen it, or you can imagine it, aim for the stars. When you keep your focus, it has to come to you. It's law. It's universal law. My partner was just starting to read about the law of attraction and things a few years ago. And I challenged him to manifest something so that he would have no doubt in his mind that it was the universe giving him what he wanted. He's a bit of a skeptic, but he gave it a go. So he sat there and he told me that he was going to try and manifest a £50 note. Here in the UK, it's probably the most rare of all the notes in circulation. It's not often that you see one, unless you maybe, work in a shop or a bank. But anyway, you know what I mean. It's the most rare of all the notes. So he concentrated all of his energy and focus on having this £50 note in his hands. What it felt like, what it smelt like, how thin it was, what noise it made when he crinkled it. He really felt like he had that £50 note in his hands there and then. Now, a couple of weeks later, I remember him running to me all excited saying, "You'll never believe it." And in his hand, he held two £50 notes. His boss had congratulated him for a really great piece of work that he had completed. He's a graphic designer, if you don't know, but he was so happy. So his boss had gave him £100 for the completion of this task that he had to do before schedule. So by way of two £50 notes. Now, Johnny couldn't believe it, and I told him, there you go, there's your proof. And then guess what happened next? He has never, ever tried to manifest ever again. Now, I'm talking this was about 5 or 6 years ago as well. So why has he never gone back to it? Because he's passed it off as sheer coincidence, as a fluke, as a chance occurrence. He didn't believe in his own power. He didn't believe it was his own doing. He let those inner thoughts and voices in his mind take over the main narrative. And then he went straight back to square one of being a non-believer. He'll quite happily accept the fact that I manifest all the time. And again, he passes it all off as coincidence each time, despite the fact of me showing him all the proof that I need to believe it. So why are we all in a way a little bit of Johnny? It's all to do with our upbringing. We're taught by our parents or carers to act in a certain way, that certain things are possible, that certain things are out of reach. It's like our power is being capped by brainwashing. For example, I was listening to a podcast the other day about money mindset and business mindset, and the speaker made a really good point. She turned to the audience and asked, why are we so afraid of money? Now, lots of people obviously put their hands up, shouted out, and gave their opinions, and she eventually told everyone it was because of our parents. So what did our parents do when we were younger and we put a penny or a pound coin in our mouths? Straight away. Get that out your mouth, it's dirty. She then asked the audience, so what are we teaching our kids by saying that? That money is dirty, that cash is to be feared, that it's evil and it's going to poison you. So she made a very quick statement up on the spot about what to say to your kids instead. So she said, take that money out your mouth. In this family, we look after our money. So can you see that those two statements, you're giving the same message telling the child that it's wrong, but at the same time you're delivering it in such a way that they don't think negatively about it. In the same way that you're conditioning that child to think good about wealth, it's the same way that we've all been brought up to think that money is the root of all evil. So, getting back to manifesting what you want, these are the types of blocks that we need to be aware of and remove for this to work for you, basically. I don't want you to feel guilty or wrong for wanting that huge mansion in the countryside because you think that you don't deserve it, or wanting £1 million in your bank because you haven't worked for it. Don't give up on your dreams of happiness. And that's exactly why they're your dreams, because you know deep inside they will bring you happiness. There's nothing wrong with your dreams or anything else that you want in life for that matter. Walk towards it with all of your heart and might. Most people want things out of fear, like they want money, because they're on the last fiver in the bank. And fear is what we need to attempt to move away from. People might want money because they owe a lot of debt. People might want love because they fear that they're going to be alone. That's fear. We need to attempt to move away from fear. We manifest only from a place of love. The only reason that we can't change water into wine or heal cancer with our bare hands is because our thoughts are scattered all over the place. Instead of being one constant, well-aimed beam, our thoughts are mishmashed everywhere. We might pray that everything will work out, but then something at the back of our mind will be worrying that they won't. At the same time that we're thinking about optimism, we're secretly telling ourselves internally that manifesting is a load of bullshit. When you look into it, the average person has around 60,000 thoughts per day in their waking hours. So yes, you might have that one thought about positivity today. And yes, you might have thought about how good it would be to have that house and that money. But you've also spent 5,000 thoughts thinking about how much you hate the people that you work with, or how annoying your neighbour is, or some irrelevant person on TV. Your mind is so powerful. Every single thought produces form at some level. And just because they're screwed up doesn't mean them any weaker or any less effective. If I throw a ball up into the air, I know it's going to come back down. Intention is just like that ball. It comes back in exactly the same way that I send out. So what you give out, what you pray and hope about, you get that back in equal measures. If you send out thoughts of fear and rejection, then fear and rejection is what you will receive. If you criticize and slag off others, you'll be criticized and slagged off yourself. If you send out love and blessings, you will get love and blessings in return. Is that all making sense? So, in this experiment that I want you to do between now and next week's episode, I want you to use nothing but the power of your own thought. You will magnetize something into your life. You're going to set an intention to draw to you a particular event or thing into your life, but I want you to get specific. Get creative. You're going to do this in 48 hours. Try and pick something that I spoke about, like Johnny earlier. Something that's small about that your brain won't think that's impossible, but something unusual enough so that you have no doubt in your mind that you created it with your thought. Like Johnny earlier with the £50 notes, for example. So for instance, if I gave myself 48 hours to manifest a Range Rover, my subconscious would immediately go to thoughts of, no way, in 48 hours, you're having a laugh. Whereas if I tried to manifest 50 sales on Canny Crystals, it's doable. I've done it many times before, but it's not something that happens on a daily occurrence. So I hope that gives you a bit more clarity of the kind of thing that I want you to manifest. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible for you to manifest a Range Rover. Believe me, I'm trying, as you're more than aware. But start with those baby steps until you believe for yourself. Pick something that you can get your mind around. Maybe, I don't know, a £5 note flying by your feet as you're out for a walk. Or if you think that that's too lucky even, just a white and black feather or something like that. Whatever it is, hold that image in your mind though. Just so that when it actually happens, you know without any doubt that is you and you have caused that to happen. Now it is important to be specific. And like I say, hold that image. Meditate on how it feels to have found the thing that you're manifesting, what it feels like in your hands, if it's an event, what it feels like to be there, what it smells like, what sounds you can hear. Bring it to life in your head. Speak it out into the universe. Go ahead, say something along the lines of, for the sake of this experiment, give me a sign. I give you 48 hours to bring me X, Y, or Z. I will focus on it with all of my being. And then do exactly that. Focus on it. Every time you feel your mind wandering, bring it back to your manifestation. At any point throughout the day that you find yourself or catch yourself not thinking about good thoughts, bring your mind back to this, what you're trying to manifest. If it's that £5 that blew past your feet on your walk, what will you spend the £5 on? Or will you hand it in wherever you are to help out whoever had lost it? How will that make you feel? Give yourself the 48 hours, but play it through in your mind. If your manifestation still hasn't appeared or materialized, think about the reasons why. Were you thinking too negatively about the situation? Have you yourself got severe blocks about the law of attraction, setting intentions and manifesting? That's what I want you to really think about this week. Overcoming these mental blocks. So as much as I'd love for you to do the experiments, I also want to help you overcome these mental blocks. You wouldn't believe how many messages, emails, DMs I get every single week asking me from people why their manifestations aren't happening. And it's definitely something I'm going to help you work on by way of this podcast, the manifestation workshops, and sharing the knowledge and the love. So I hope that this episode has given you some food for thought and at least a little bit of what I've said has stuck with you and helped you a little bit, okay? But let me know. You can contact me at Canny Crystals on both TikTok and Instagram, or alternatively, you can follow my personal, which is at Mark Tweedy, where I'm pretty boring in real life. I'm still on that 75-day challenge, by the way. Today is day 16, and I've lost 7.2 pounds. I haven't even had a cheat meal or alcohol or anything, so I'm actually quite proud of myself. But yeah, links for all of my socials are in the show notes below. And let me know, as always, what you want to hear from this podcast. Drop me a message. Please don't forget to like, rate and review this podcast. It really helps me out so much because obviously I don't get paid to podcast. I do it in my own free time. Like, I don't get paid. But anyway, please show me some love. You can even rate and review on Spotify if you didn't already know. And finally, don't forget to visit my website, cannycrystals.co.uk, for all your spiritual needs. And thank you so much for listening to me once again. And I'll hopefully see you all again next week for another episode. Have a super lush week, everyone, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye. Come and join me in the Manifest with Mart community. For just £10 a month, you'll get exclusive access to my app and you'll join all the other beautiful souls in the Canny community, where each day you'll be held accountable to making your dreams and desires come to fruition. You'll also be set daily and weekly challenges. There's a chat room built in so you can talk to people in real time, and you can also pop over any questions that you have in the Q&A forum and I'll answer them for you. It's changing people's lives, and we've already had so many people manifesting things in the first 2 weeks alone. Each new moon, I'll also be going live within the group on a face-to-face video to help you get the most out of the lunar cycles, as well as answer any burning questions that you have. And these live meetups are so powerful, and everyone in the group has had nothing but praise for the safe space that we share. There are very limited spaces for this community, however, just to ensure that I can place my focus on you and nurture you into the ultimate manifester. So if you'd like a spot, please be quick and reserve your seat now. Head to cannycrystalsacademy.co.uk and choose the Manifest with Mart option, where you can get instant access, and what's more, you'll also get access to all of the past recordings and chats too. Join now and start living the life of your dreams.